to the call. All right, welcome everyone. This is Finding Truth Everywhere from an Open Door. It is October 31st, 2024. Last time I checked, people called me Cindy. And we're going to be discussing Jack Kornfield today. I think it came from Kendall. I think this video came as a recommendation from Kendall, and Kendall's not in the room. While I'm thinking about it, I also want to apologize just in case Sandra's here. I now figured out, I think, was it yesterday? Oh no, maybe that wasn't it. I don't know. I would swear I hit the record button, but I can't find the recording from Tuesday's training wheel. It was an extraordinary experience. And I suppose it was meant to be in the ethers. I went to record it. I went to, I have a song. We always begin with a song. I'm a little off. It's my last day here. I've been here 30 days. There's a lot of emotions. And it's so interesting because part of this teaching from Jack said name, name, name.
Yes.
And what's so interesting is the emotional sensation in this system right now is not layered. And I've been attempting to play a little bit with being still with what the experience is right now. And it's going to have to untangle. I'm finding that I can't, even the way he said, you say you're feeling a certain way all the time. That's not what's happening here. I'm definitely in a wave and there are no words. I can't just name sadness or grief or happiness or gratitude or joy. They're all there, but they're all mixed up. Uh, uh, but in any case, uh, it's affecting a little bit of my communication skills. But here is a song that fits. I hope you enjoy it. Our friend Michelle, who's down there in the corner, sent it to me this morning and said, I find this to be an extraordinarily spiritual song. And I watched it and I'm not disagreeing. And it's also really fun. And who doesn't want to listen to George Harrison and Aretha Franklin sing together? Like, how often does that happen? So just remember so much about it is our intention and where we place our faith. And let's play our song. I already put it in an open door playlist. And Barbie, your one job is to make sure I hit that record button. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Michelle. And I do have a list of things to share. And I am inspired to step back a little and just hear from Amy first, just because it's so awesome that you're choosing to be here and to sit. And if you listened to Jack Kornfield, and if there's anything you'd like to share, you all want to hear it while you're still present and with us.
I did. It's really good to be here. And I really appreciate, I did watch it, but it was a while ago. And I remember really liking it because he's such a gentle man. And, um, and I think the naming is really, really important, as you said, Cindy. So I'm probably going to start crying. I don't know how long I'll stay on. But I'm glad to be here and I'm really grateful for this community. And if I could name what I feel right now, it's kind of sadness and loss, loss of my own mobility right now. I'm kind of like a robot. I can't turn or twist or bend or anything. Um, and my mobility is my freedom. And so I'm feeling a loss of that. But I know that it will get better. So that's really good. Um, and at the same time, my older sister is kind of withering away and in the hospital, not eating, and um, so it's just I feel sad for that, sad for her, sad for a friendship with my sister that could have been more than what it was, and she's probably going to die before I see her, and so there's a lot going on here, but I just love you all, and I love this life, and I go behind the sadness and behind the loss, and I find the stillness and the presence that's always there. It's not gone anywhere. It's right there, and I'm so happy for it. So just moving and doing. But thank you. Yeah, it's great to see everybody. Yeah. I
Love you so much.
love you all too. I really
All
do.
right. And with that share, I'm going to begin at the end of my notes. Um, what's happening this week in Mexico, and very much here in a place out of time, is the Day of the Dead celebrations. And they go on for 7 days, and they're intricate. And I've learned that the Mexican people, most of them never really became Catholic. They pretended to become Catholic. They did what they had to do to become Catholic so that they weren't killed by the Spanish invaders. And there's a lot of interesting stories. But they merged their traditions. And a big one is these Day of the Dead celebrations. And um, so much of it was part of like listening to the end of this audio and listening, to what's going on, holding your sister. And one of the things they do is they create these gorgeous altars there's a lot of orange, can't remember the name of the flower. Orange calls you to the light. There's a lot of traditions, but they create these altars with the pictures of their loved ones. And we stopped in this little dress shop, and this woman was so gorgeous. And because it was this gorgeous little altar and all these pictures, and she says, and this is my husband, and this is my husband. And then she'd look at us, bright, gorgeous woman, and she'd say, and I am alive. Like not, I am alive. They don't the Day of the Dead celebrations isn't about grieving the death of their loved ones. It's about celebrating that I am alive. And then she said, this is my best friend since we were in second grade, and this is my dearest friend that I lost in COVID. And every couple seconds, she said, oh, how wonderful this breath feels. And she had a streak of like pink going through her head, and she had this little dress job, and she took a good 10 minutes to describe all her altar to us, and she was vibrant and alive, and so she's like, what a miracle this moment is. And then she looked and she said, and it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, so tell me if you'll ever see this in the States. And then she said, that woman that just left, she ordered 2 dresses, and I'm closing the shop now so that I could go make them. And I'm like, you make all your dresses? Only when I had the pattern. She's like showing us the dress she's wearing. And I am alive. And last night, um, friends here cooked me a vegan feast, and a couple of my other friends. And um, Tim, um, Tim lost his partner. He was married to Cliff for 45 years. And Cliff died a year ago last March. And he stepped into this world in Mexico and is with Ricky, and there's so much celebration, and there's so much life, and there's so much movement. And people last night, we were talking about feeling those that had passed. And I used to be a spiritualist minister, and all of a sudden these messages are coming through, right? It had been a long time since I gave a message to someone from someone who left the body. And I couple that with the fact that earlier in that day, we listened to Joel Goldsmith's last audio Like he died within 24 hours because no one knew. Joel worked and then he left his body. And it was an hour of reminding us that the body is a vehicle and it's nonsense. It's nonsense to identify with anything that dies. So this whole thing is being intermixed in my head, in this culture, in this life, and conversations with friends. And then I sit to listen to the last 20 minutes of this audio this and all the hair is standing up on my arms as Jack is just reminding us that we don't know anything. We don't know anything. And our assumptions about life and death are ridiculous. And he's telling this story about this man who just lost his wife of 49 years and had been a scientist his whole life and never believed and never even chose to believe. And here it is, he buries his wife and then he steps into his home and his wife is there. And the most beautiful light he's ever seen is there. And these other beings are every there. And his wife looks and just sort of smiles and disappears. And I'm sitting in my space, right? Trying to trying to understand why I would reject that. What is it about being human in a physical form that we hold as God when God isn't in form? It's 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 working on me. Let's put it that way. One of the things that's happened in this month is I've dropped a whole bunch of my assumptions. If I don't have a direct experience of whatever's going on, then I don't know what's real. And there's a period there. Jack seems so Buddhist. For me, Buddhism is direct. Just do your chants, just do your prayers. Know that everything's love, but it's not talking about dead people and not dead people and trans. And Jack was just sitting there going, it's not exactly as it seems, and we're not just this. And so why are we assuming that we are? Where does your assumption where did those assumptions come? They don't make any sense to me. On the other hand, going off to go to psychic, tell me what my dead, whatever, that doesn't make sense either, right? That's been a lot of what this teaching means for me right now is that there really is two sides of the pendulum and the truth is in the balance point. And so why reject any of it? It doesn't make any sense. Amy would be so happy to hear that I'm hanging out with people that love near-death experience and we're dealing with psychics and mystics and I'm listening to Paul Selig every day now and recognizing that his teaching is the same. Met a woman who met Seth. How insane is that? Like I met a woman here who walked into Jane Roberts' house and watched Jane Roberts go from this to this and just speak the teachings that came through Seth. Why? Why are we so adamant, even us who play with all these teachings, to state we have a clue what's going on? Jack Kornfield and his beautiful, beautiful voice. He seems so logical, so intelligent, so beautiful, so Buddhist, is telling me to stop. Stop assuming anything. All of our teachers really have been telling us to stop assuming anything. And we got Melanie here, and Melanie is steeped in the experimentation, right? And for me, having hung out with Jenny Beal as long as I've had and had to watch the experiments as an admin and not get lost in them, to me, they're pointing to the same thing. Let's have no assumption here. Let's allow for direct experience in every moment. That's the deep, meaningful part of my share. Now I got lots of quotes and stuff that I really enjoyed, but I want to take a breath in case anybody wants to say anything at all about what I just shared or um, how this teaching inspired anything. Is that you, Amy? There you go, Amy. I saw you moving.
No, the only thing I want to say is that, I so appreciate A Course in Miracles, focus on the body, because the body is such an anchor. And it is a very, very convincing argument that you're not God. And so uh, it is with great gratitude that I have just, I'm coming back around again to really reinforcing those teachings, because the body is extremely convincing. It is an amazing invention that we created. It's such an amazing illusion. So I would say honor the body, honor the teachings of the body. But as you said, Cindy, you're walking up both ends of the spectrum, and you're having this experience as a body, knowing that you're not a body. And that's why we're all here together, is to remind each other when we forget. So thank you.
All right, interrupt me at any time because these are just pretty points that I really love that he said, so I wrote them down. To listen is to be awake in the present. And along those same lines, when we go back to the words, he stated, when you, or the, name what the experience is. The mind will like to tell you, like, Amy had back surgery. I can't, like, the fact that she's sitting here with us 3 days later, to me, it's a bit miraculous. There's a lot of discomfort and a lot of limitation and a lot of ways to go. And it's very easy for the mind to just say, I am in so much pain. This is agony. It'll never end. It never stops, whatever it does. But if you sit and you listen in the now, you can say, well, right now it's sadness. Now it's irritation. It was just a moment of stillness, followed by intense rage. And you get in tune with the flow of the present moment, which was a key part of why they called this talk, a dance and a song. It's a flow. And the other part of it, and the hair just stood up on my ends. I love just how he so peacefully said that in this human experience, there's going to be pain and suffering. So stop running away from it. Stop denying it. Stop trying to fix it. You know, if we're experiencing, and I'm sorry Sandra's not here because I hear her voice. I heard her voice when he was talking about it this morning. And this moment sucks. And I'm gonna fully embrace the suckiness and the pain of this present moment. And that's what life is. Hey, Rana.
Hello, Cindy. Hello, everyone. Didn't we have a video recently? It might have been Bob Harwood who was pointing to that listen. Anybody recall? Is it a dream, a fantasy? When you used to listen is to be awake in the present. There was another teacher we listened to that was just like,
There was an older I don't, was it Bob or the heavy set teacher who also came and went, who gave me the idea that life was static. Like Cindy's lifeline was one line and we traverse above it. I can't even remember his name right
I
now.
just think that word in particular is a really good pointing, because hearing and listening are two different things for sure. And to listen is an action, and it's a willingness to focus attention somewhere. And I think just, that pause and listen can be, I love the word anchor, Thank you for that today. It could just anchor me in the direct experience. Well, that's all for now. Thank you. Listen.
He said that in the present is birth and death, joy and sorrow, and in the present moment is the only place we can love. That really struck me. We we project this belief that we love someone who's not with us in this moment. That's not love, that's thought. In the presence is the only place we can love. Everything else is fantasy. I think he used that word, fantasy. And I'm really, for those of us who know that I love my spiritual aspiration, he said, not being present is like climbing the ladder to find out it was on the wrong wall. Joseph Campbell, he quoted Joseph. But if we don't know where we are in this moment, and we don't have it clearly stated what our intention is, we could work really, really, really hard to move in a direction opposite of our ultimate desire. And the other part of a lot of these teachings, and it's merging with what we listened to from Joel last night here, is that our goal is to be here, right? Our goal is to know the self we never left. And so all of this searching outside and climbing external ladders is never, ever, ever going to provide us the truth of our being. As opposed to being present and to pay attention is to not want it to be some other way. Which the last quote I think I wrote down is the same thing. He said that to want it to be any other way at all is our suffering. So it's not the back pain or the bank account or the pain in the intestines or our family members going through a hard time that creates our suffering. The suffering is being created because there's a thought in the mind that it should be different. Does anybody want to talk about that? Because I got to tell you, I could get that message 10,000 times and I take a step and a mosquito bites me and it starts to sting. Man, do I want that to stop. Is the suffering the mosquito bite? Or is the suffering the wishing it was different? Hey, Michelle.
Hi. Hello. I hate I hate mosquitoes. I got to tell you, I think that there are some of us who just react to them very, very dramatically. So that's a great question. So um I'm this is fantastic. And by the way, I have to say, Amy, I love you so very much. Chuck, I love you so very much. I love you all so very much. Um, and so piggybacking on what you were saying, Cindy, I'm really, really working on, for me, reminding myself it's never external. It's never external. And with the mosquito thing, you really like hit me right between the eyes because it isn't ever external. I have to remember, um, it's all in within me. And so this is one of the reasons I love A Course in Miracles. You know, I it is completely saved my life in many ways. But I say the Ho'oponopono prayer as consistently as I can every day, and that has really helped me remember that it's all within my being. And And a lot of times I'll rely on the Course in Miracles. I don't know what anything is for lesson. But the Ho'oponopono with I love you and thank you. I love you and thank you. And that really uh, it's really been quite the relevant reminder for me and a game changer. So anyway, thank you for letting me share.
Yeah. He went on to Alan Watts and the quality of attention and meditation. And I've never heard this pointing before. It's gonna be with me. Um, I'm gonna keep it with me. This this looking at music and dance. Does everybody remember that? Well, go ahead. I'm waiting for Chuck to go. Yep, I remember. And I'm just teasing him because he admitted to not watching the video. So I'm going. What he said was, can you imagine if the object of a song was to get it to the end, or a dance was to have it be finished? Um, the object of dance or a song is to be fully immersed in the music and the movement. And he equated that to meditation and attention. Uh, when we're fully present, we're in the dance, we're singing our song. And when you're singing a song, and I never looked at it this way. I don't ever remember singing with the radio or any of the songs or being with the songs that we play here and spending time thinking about it ending. Let's get it over. It's like the goal is to play the music and then we will have arrived, right? The intention is to be fully in the music, in the dance. And that's the same as life, right? Then he talked about his friend with who breathes with people. It was extraordinary. And this idea that he had this friend who spent time with hospice patients in comas, right? And he would just go and sit with these guys and match their breath. And I'm getting chills again, so this is for me. When he matched their breath, somehow the being within the body felt that, knew that, and sometimes they woke up. Sometimes they stayed awake and moved on, right? And all this man was doing was matching his breath, very big NLP teaching, but really just connecting with the being, with the softness of the breath. And then that one story of this gentleman who was ready to pass, only he was stuck in this fear, right? Gotta work, gotta do. That story was phenomenal too, and I choose to tell it. And anyone says I'm telling it differently, wrong, or whatever, please correct me, because Chuck didn't listen. So the story goes that this gentleman went into hospice and sat next to a elderly black man who's had a long life, and he had been in a coma for 6 months, and he matched this man's breathing. And after a while, this man just woke up and started talking clear as day. And he said, they want me to get on this boat. And Jack Kornfield's man said, so why won't you get on it? He said, because I got to go to work. I work for a living. Yeah, Jack's friend's like, well, haven't you ever taken a vacation? He said, no, never took a vacation. Don't you think you might want to? I gotta work. I need the money. Well, where's this boat going? Stops for a minute. He's like, it's going to the Caribbean. How much is gonna cost, way more than I have. He's like, are you sure? Why don't you go ask? And get still for a minute. He comes back, he says, they don't want any money. His friend goes to him, why don't you go on vacation? He gets still. He agrees, closes his eyes, passes away 10 minutes later. You know why this story is so cool for me? Go ahead and watch what the thinking mind does with it. Either the thinking mind's going to say it's just a story, doesn't mean anything, or it's not. Why is it important? One end of the pendulum. Or it's going to make all of life about that, and start chasing rainbows and wanting everything to be special and metaphysical and crazy. And we ain't a body. We ain't the body. It'll say we ain't the body, or the story's not true. And everything about Jack's teaching and all the teachings actually, for me, say that's both of the mind doesn't care what it convinces you of, as long as it convinces you to be something other than present here now and fully immersed in whatever's going on. Does that make sense? Everybody's being so quiet. If someone listens to the recording, they're going to think I'm alone. And I'm not alone. um, but what he was really saying is what in the present moment, when we agree to let go of all these stories that the thinking mind is filled with, we're going to find pain. We're going to find intense fear. We're going to find joy. We're going to find all of those things that are here in the present moment. And for me, more than anything else, Jack was inviting us, it's like Sandra, feels like Sandra's teaching. But Jack is inviting us to be with what's here now. And isn't pain gorgeous? Can it be exquisite? Suffering, joy, love. This and key for me is that I recognize that before this work really grabbed a hold of me, I was petrified of feeling whatever was in my body. I was petrified. I would do everything in my power to control my circumstance so I wouldn't feel what I was going to feel when my mother told me I was wrong, you know, or I would do everything in my power not to get vulnerable and tell my ex-husband how I was really feeling. I was so petrified, being still in the present moment and allowing whatever was happening to inform me. I was afraid of the experience. And there have been a lot of moments since I really stepped in this water, right, that have been excruciating. I wanted to die. How many times? I mean, Amy and Barbie tell those stories beautifully of being awake at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and breathing into the intensity of the sensation. And it's stunning, and it's gorgeous, and it's perfect, and it's beautiful because it's alive, because the only place we can love and know ourselves is now. And all of suffering is nothing other than wanting now to somehow be different. That's really all I heard from Jack in his beautiful, sweet song voice and all of his stories. Barbie's in the house.
How about you know somebody knows that you're not by yourself on the slide? During the class, you know, you're going to be alone. Well, you're not alone. There's 8 people here with you. But all I want, but all I wanted to say is, I said before you taped this is I'm glad for Monday because those 4 words, my four letters, I will. It helped me throughout the day because everybody knew I was in pain. I felt my body was falling apart. Well, so being in the present, somehow, I don't know when the pain left me. And whatever experience I was experiencing, that's what I was taking as. And I kept on saying, well, this is for my good. So I have to do it no matter, in my words, bad experience I had or awfulness or whatever. But by the end of the night, I had a blast. I was watching, I put on a music channel and it had lines in it. So I never done karaoke before. I kept my husband up, but I had a karaoke night by myself for a whole hour. I enjoyed it. My husband says, you can't sing. You can't even follow the words that are on the screen. I don't care. I'm enjoying myself. Let me enjoy myself for what I went through. But God gifted me whatever, the pleasure of what I was experiencing. I don't know what the word to call it, but I enjoyed myself that day and the following day. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't think I don't think I've ever heard anyone prepare for a colonoscopy with karaoke before. That,
Well, this is the first time.
oh yeah, talk about miracles. All right, who else wants to share? I mean, the only other notes I have here are something along the lines of continue to practice like you're a child. I'll sit here until Melanie shares because it's my favorite.
No,
Melanie only gets to really come once or twice a week.
yeah. I was thinking, yeah, I really enjoyed Jack's. Jack has such a presence and he's so endearing. And I really, love listening. And I was going to mention, you mentioned Jenny Beal and her last meditation. It was really helpful because she made us, you realize that our thoughts, our feelings, our sensations, all the content of experience can never can never tell us what we are. We can only be it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
The content of can never tell us. And we look to thought to explain everything. We look to, you know, but it's only by being it. We can't find the answer, it's only by being it. Does that make sense at all? Yeah. And that's why the not knowing is so wonderful because it takes us out of that struggle of trying to figure everything out. Um, so I appreciate, and one other thing, he talked about giving space, openness and space. And just by chance, I was reading something and it mentioned that the word, salvation, the definition of salvation includes being brought into a wide open space. Salvation comes from the root word yasha, which means to be open, wide, or free. And I never really, thought of it that way. But open space where and I see it as you're no longer, the I thought is a point, is a center, but wide open space cannot have a center. And when you open up more and more, that center gets diffused until finally it's just the space, which is being. So it's cool. And it's wonderful to be here in space.
It really is, isn't it? And I'm guessing that Linda Joy is in Europe somewhere, and that's why she came now instead of an hour ago. Because we don't change
Yes,
our clocks till Saturday night, so we're in
right.
the last 15 minutes. But tell us where you are.
Well, I'm still in Paris and I'll be home next week. Um, I've had Wi-Fi problems off and on, and then the time change, and it's been a little awkward because what morning for me is now late afternoon, 5, 6, even sometimes 7, 8 o'clock. So it's nice to see you, Cindy. I'm glad to see you back. The few times I've popped in and found you guys,
Yeah,
you've not been here,
I
and
haven't been in the 12-step meeting, but I am back next
good.
week too, and back at all the meetings. So
Thank you.
I'll be home again next week.
Welcome back. I'm not going to interrupt your conversation here, but I just wanted to thank you for saying hello.
Oh,
It
well,
feels good.
I love that you're here. That you're here.
Feels like home.
Does. Is there more to share? If not, I want to play that song home
Oh, play.
that I got from Linda Joy. Does anybody else want to share anything? We can listen and then I'll hit the record again, or Rana can share first.
Is it just open? Can I just share anything right now?
Yes.
Because I have to watch the video. I didn't get a chance to do that. And it was a real lesson for me to just be like, who cares? Show up anyway, right? We just show up to be with our friends. That's why. But
See the gift you gave her, Chuck?
yeah, we just show up anyway. But I did want to express, Amy was talking about sadness at the beginning. And I just wanted to say out loud that I felt some sadness arise today. And there's a story, right? I can see right where it is. And I can also see that the sadness is not here right now, but can be conjured up very easily as I tell you this little story. So that's an interesting seeing, right? But sadness arose this morning because, on Facebook, I've got a couple hundred friends. A lot of them are in recovery, and a lot of them I've known for over 20 years. And to watch them argue with each other over the world right now, and then to get sucked, I didn't get sucked into it physically, but that's the sadness came, right? It's like these people that I know have loved each other for 20 years are just making these snide comments and underhanded whatever. And I sat with it, and it wanted to pull me into the world, right? It wanted me to think about what's happening in the world right now. And I chose not to do that, right? I allowed it to be there. I noted to myself that I wanted to share that with you guys. And then it was dropped until then Amy brought it up again, and I watched the story again and the feeling behind the story, and then it's gone. And then Cindy says, anybody else have one more thing to share? And it wants to come up and be expressed one more time for some reason. So I really appreciate it. Have no assumptions, just allow for direct experience. So I'm following guidance that because it kept coming up, that is for me to share with my friends. Just the noticing of sadness, the noticing of the story connected to it, and the the magnetism of the world wanting to draw this one in and fill it in with all the stories of why. And I am just standing in awareness and saying, this one doesn't have to do that. But it's interesting to have the observation experience of it. So thank you for letting me share that with you.
Yeah. Perfect, by the way. Anybody want to say anything else, or should I put it on pause? And
I just want to say I thank you all. I really appreciate you allowing me to be here when I don't really have anything to share today. I'm grateful for your presence. Thank you.
oh, thank you. See, all my friends love me so much. This idea that the audio is going to be all my voice and people would think I have no friends. Yeah, all right. Shall we do a little bit of home for Linda and I as we get ready to go home physically? All right.